right? We stand behind every property as if it's our own. And we don't stop a project until it's surpassed your expectations. So I'm very transparent right from the get-go that no matter what we're doing, whether it's new grass or we're doing a full-on retaining wall and patio project, we're not done until you guys are absolutely pleased. And if that means 3 or 4 trips back to, make little tweaks to the plan, we'll absolutely do it. We're behind your property as much as you are.
Welcome to Rochester Business Connections, powered by Balbert Marketing, LLC, where I get the chance to chat with Rochester, New York's very best business owners, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders. I am your host, Ben Albert. Don't forget to subscribe, and remember, we don't do advertisements. My fee for this show is simple. If you gain value from the episode, personally share with a friend and explain your favorite part. Let's get started. Awesome. Welcome everyone to Rochester Business Connections. I am here with Shea Delola. How are we doing today, Shea?
Good. How are you? Beautiful weather today.
Yeah, it's beautiful. We were just talking about it. I'm trying to get outside as soon as we're done with this conversation. Beautiful weather in the middle of November. It blows my mind, right?
I'll take it. This time last year, we had about 1.5 feet of snow. So this is a huge upgrade.
Huge upgrade. KMB Property Services. Shea is the owner and founder. You guys ultimately help people's property freaking look good. The curb appeal, it makes you feel good, and it makes your business and your home look more professional. Tell us what exactly you do in terms of the specific services and maybe a bird's eye view of what you do at KMB.
Yeah, so rewind back to 2008. Just a 15-year-old boy going around house to house trying to see what I could do to help. It started as what was just a friendly neighborhood service, going around house to house. Hey, what can I do for you, Mrs. Jones? What can I do for you? What can I do for you? And I found my niche at a young age, about 16, 17 years old. I was actually out in a property in Honeyway Falls stacking wood. What most people look at as a huge chore and pain in the butt. I found my love, and I said, this is what brings me peace, and this is what makes me happy, and it makes people very happy. So from that moment on, we kind of set the goal that we were going to help all Rochester and surrounding areas improve the local real estate conditions. So KMB Property Solutions is not just the landscape service. We provide hardscaping, patios, walkways, retaining walls. And what we aim to do is bring your dreams to a reality. So if you have a vision for your property, we're here to make that vision come true.
I love it. I love it. Is there a perfect client? Do you work with just about anybody? Or, I mean, if you were to get a phone call today and I were to be like, hey, I'm Ben, I'm a blank looking for blank, what does your ideal client look like?
Well, number one, I always tell people, how much research have you done into your project? What is this project going to do to bring you guys happiness? And what service is it going to provide for the functionality of your property? A lot of people will move into a brand new house. Great clientele to talk to. Sometimes they don't even have grass down yet. So we're looking at a blank canvas. I work with local development companies out in Webster, and I'm working on a project out in Honeyway Falls next week where we'll actually take a blank slate and put together the design and bring their goals in line with what we can do for them. So starting with a blank canvas is always the best, but we will service properties that have, kind of had the same landscape for year in and year out, and they just want to spice it up. So they'll say, Shea, what can we do? Well, let's do this, this, and this.
Love it. Love it. Wow, man. So it's funny you say you like moving bricks. You like actually getting in and doing the hard work. I'm just curious, is there ever like a 95 degree day where you're about to pass out?
So the crew will say yes. And, when it's your business and it's your passion, no matter what the conditions are, you find a way to just keep going. It's that natural drive and passion that I have for the industry that doesn't allow you to stop. But there are certain days where, you know what, you got to call it quits. If it's snowing in November, we can't work in 3 or more inches of snow. We don't do any plowing. So as soon as the snow hits, we call it a year. Um, but then you'll get into situations, whether it's a leaf cleanup and it's too windy. There's certain conditions that just prohibit the work from being done. But more times than not, we power through it.
Yeah, I mean, you got to power through it. You got to make your customers happy. You've
Yeah.
touched on this, you like to have a vision and complete the project just how your client wants it done. What kind of values, missions did you build the company on? Do you have a mission statement or anything
Mhm.
that really drives you and your team to do the best work?
Yeah, so when I meet with clients one on one, the first thing I do is give them our brochure. It gives a general breakdown of the company, who we are, what we're made up of, starting with the initials KMB. Has nothing to do with Shea. It's the corresponding initials of my family members. So Carrie is my mom, Madeline is my sister, and Brandon's my brother. Brandon's also an employee with the company. So that's our initial value, right? We stand behind every property as if it's our own. And we don't stop a project until it's surpassed your expectations. So I'm very transparent right from the get go that no matter what we're doing, whether it's new grass or we're doing a full on retaining wall and patio project, we're not done until you guys are absolutely pleased. And if that means 3 or 4 trips back to, make little tweaks to the plan, we'll absolutely do it. We're behind your property as much as you are.
I like that you're, family centric business, family owned. How big of a team have you built since you started 3, 4 years ago?
So I started as just me back in the day, driving around in a car. And I was like, wow, how is this ever going to grow? And what actually led to my most growth is my career in football. So I, at a young age, started to perfect my skills in football. And I joined a semi-pro league. And then I joined an arena football league. And then I joined a national football league. And then a worldwide football league. So I kept growing my football career. And what that did that I didn't realize is introduced me to some of the hardest working individuals I've ever imagined meeting. And so once I partnered up with some of those individuals, they helped shed some business knowledge my way. And then from there, I recruited a team. We'll stay steadily at about 6 or 7 employees. But during the seasonal times of the summer, so late May to very late August, sometimes early September, we'll bring on a lot of college students as well. So my team will get as big as 14 to 15 guys when we're
Wow.
fully cranking in May, June, and July. And then towards this time of the year, we'll tone it down to about 4 or 5 full-time employees. And we service just over 600 properties a year. So it's a pretty fun business, and there's a lot to it. And we're always looking to grow.
I like to hear that. So if anyone watching is in school, has a full-time job and wants to do something part-time during that busy season, maybe to fund your next vacation or feed your family or any of these things,
Mhm.
sounds like you're always looking to bring people on. You've got plenty of business
Ab-
coming in.
Absolutely. And any experience level too. We have simple roles like just labor. So people that need to bring around the wheelbarrow, want to use some of the equipment. I've got backpack blowers for this time of the year. So a lot of it is letting the equipment do the work. So some people that might not have the technical skills like building a retaining wall, I can hire on for some of the property maintenance.
You said you're a professional football player. Um, I'm just curious, just totally just curious if you know Lewis Howes, the School of Greatness. He's got a
Oh,
podcast and a video
whereabouts?
show. So Lewis Howes, he's a very famous podcaster, one of the smartest business people I've ever heard. Has like millions and millions of views on YouTube, and
Wow.
he started as an arena football player who I think he had a back injury, a season-ending injury, and moved into the business realm after really just playing football his whole life. So I just
Wow.
wanted to shout him out because he's a great business person and
That's great.
a great podcaster. And there's definitely some alignment in your values and your history. So,
Oh, I
um,
love that. I'll check them out.
another silly question is when you're playing football, what goes into keeping, you know, the green like perfect? How do they maintain the field? Is it actually
So,
grass, or do they actually just plant in, turf?
there's multiple ways to do a football field. Number one is your base, so your actual earth, the soil that makes it up. If you're playing on a clay surface like out in Webster and Irondequoit, you'll either have clay or you'll have a sandy composite mixture in the dirt. And so what that will do is have sinking problems or hardening issues. So certain schools in the area, like Edison Tech, it's a harder foundation. So you'll see right around the corner from them over at East High, they've converted over to artificial turf. So depending on your ground is what you decide, but it's pretty simple. Make sure it's a nice level surface that isn't flat, because flat is going to make puddles. So you need a slight grade on the land to make sure that the water runs off. And then it's a lot of fertilizing, staying up with your mowing, and then overall general watering. So when we get the hot spells in the summer, you need to make sure you keep it watered. If you see that yellow grass in the area, they're just missing the water and fertilizing.
Makes sense. Makes sense. I always love to shout out Rochester on the show. And since you play football, I'm curious, what's the best field in Rochester if I wanted to just go have fun and be like, wow.
So, well, I'm biased because
Okay.
our home field is the old Paytech Stadium, the Rhinos old field.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're very fortunate. It's now Marina Auto Stadium, right over on Oak Street in the city. Beautiful stadium, can hold about 3,000 or 4,000 fans, if not more. And we're fortunate to have that field. It's owned by Irondequoit, and I believe the city of Rochester has partial ownership or control to the regulations of the field. So that's where our home games are played. We're the Charlotte Colonials. And there's a few other teams in Rochester, too, that play on local high school fields.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What else do you love to do for fun, man? Work has been set down. It's no longer busy season. It's winter time coming up. What are you doing for fun on the weekend? Pre-COVID even is okay, because a
Yeah.
lot of things have closed down, and we hope that they'll all be up and running soon.
Mm-hmm.
Where would we find you on a Saturday, Sunday night?
It sounds silly because I'm always driving. I'll probably go through 4 tanks of gas a week. But I really like driving. So I'll find a destination, 4 to 6 hours away, whether it's the Adirondacks or, down south a little bit. I've gone as far as North Carolina. And I'll plan out a little trip, 3 or 4 days, a little reset, kind of gets away from your day-to-day activities here in Rochester. So I'll find little excursions, but not too far from Rochester. I go to Letchworth a lot. So big into hiking and just overall just peace and sanity. Even the places out in like Sodas Point, there's some really cool areas in Rochester to get to. Just a little reset, a 30 or 40-minute hike can go a long way.
Isn't it wild how within an hour there's so many places you can be in? If you put in 4 hours, it's just limitless potential.
You can go anywhere.
What do you do on a long drive? Are you just like jamming tunes? Are you listening to podcasts? Do you like to just sit there in silence and breathe in the air? Like what?
So I do a little of both. I am a technical mind, so I like business discussions. So I'll listen to a little talk radio, some podcasts, depending on kind of what's streaming at the time, and then other than that, it's windows down. It's just enjoying the atmosphere and the pure getaway. I always look at that drive as a chance just to settle down and restore.
Good stuff. Yeah, I'm the same way, man. I love once you get to the 5-6 hour realm, I start to get kind of cranky, but I can go 3-4 hours, no big deal. It's a good time.
Yeah.
So you built KMB. You're a young guy. A lot of people start late. Did you have a mentor or a family member or someone that pushed you to start your own business? Have you always had that kind of entrepreneur mind? How did that all happen?
Yeah, so from a very young age, it's a very silly thing, but I had the old Motorola Razr, if you remember,
Like a
and
flip phone?
it was my first day having it, and I put it through the wash. And so my dad came downstairs and, said, "Hey, you broke your phone." And I was like, "I know, I was trying to hide it. I can't believe this happened." He's like, "Well, what are you going to do? It's $70 a month." And I was like, "Well, I'm 15. Like, I don't know what to do, Dad. You're going to have to keep paying for it." And he's like, "No, no, no. You're going to have to find a way to make $70 a month." And I said, "Oh boy, what am I going to do?" So he actually sparked this whole idea, introducing me to things I could do across the street. And so I went through the neighborhood across the street, and that's where that, handyman mentality started. But, both my parents always very, very entrepreneurial mindseted. My mom owns a cleaning company, and then my dad was running 6 to 7 routes at the time for FedEx, but also owned a glass block company and ventured into driveway sealing, and just always had the mindset of, if one thing doesn't work, what can be the next route? And so it was always a refreshing mindset, and that kind of led to where I am, being surrounded by people like that. And then over the course of my life, the people I've met, I'm always intrigued meeting people like yourself. What you do is very entrepreneurial. There's no one saying, "Hey, Ben, you need to go do this podcast today." You're out there in the community talking to people like myself. I try and surround myself with people like that.
Yeah, I resonate with that. It is always very refreshing to be surrounded by, entrepreneurial people that'll push you and challenge you and hold you accountable. Um, yeah,
Hey, oh,
good.
and a big thing I didn't mention either
Yeah,
is I've always been a part of networking groups.
cool.
So if anyone hasn't done it or hasn't heard about it, BNI, Business Networking International, is a local division. There's about 7 chapters in Rochester, and it's free to visit, but there's an annual membership, and that organization only succeeds based on referrals. So when you go in there, you're expected to give referrals, and they're expected to give referrals to you. And it's basically a team of 25, 30 sometimes individuals all working together to grow each other's businesses. So things like that have really helped me.
Yeah, yeah. I'm in a couple groups. I think one of which doesn't have a property, service
Hmm.
guy in it. One of them does, but the other one, I think I might have a spot for you. So we'll talk more about
Sounds
that.
good.
And
Yeah.
anybody listening, get in touch with us if you want to collaborate. Obviously, you like to network. I like to network as well. Um, and I think networking's important in a COVID world where things have changed. A lot of people are home more. A lot of people are on their devices more. It's a great time to get in touch with one another. I'm wondering, I hate talking about COVID. I'm almost over it, but
Right,
having
right.
a business centric podcast, it is,
Yeah,
a hot topic. It's the
yeah.
largest topic of the year. How has it affected your business, or were you pretty much unaffected due to your line of work?
Yeah, so the weirdest thing ever happened, right? It was mid-March, the scaries were starting to settle in, and you're wondering, hey, what's going to go on? I've got employees reaching out to me, customers reaching out to me, family members reaching out to me. What are you going to do? And it was actually a slow point in the year because we were just coming out of winter. So that's always the scariest point because you need to kickstart the season somehow, some way. And once we got into late March, early April, almost everybody had the mindset that their vacations were going to be canceled. So as soon as that vacation fund got canceled, people said, "Hey, let's put our money and our resources into our own property this year." And I didn't expect it, but we were getting 7 new clients a day for 3 consecutive months. So if you do the math on that, it was overwhelming, about 200 new clients every month. And in a time where we weren't the best outfitted with the number of employees due to unemployment, it was a very tough thing to go through, and it was unexpected hyper growth at a very down time. So we were fortunate. We did stay very busy, the busiest we've ever been. We tripled last year's revenue, and hopefully we can stay steady next year as well.
Yeah, I'm excited and happy for businesses that have stayed strong. It hurts me
Yeah.
businesses that are directly affected
Yep.
hardcore.
Yep.
But something like what you offer is something that virtually everyone needs.
Yeah.
to look good. I was talking to Andrew Tackling in the last episode. He does cleaning, carpet cleaning, full,
Oh,
you know,
nice.
scrubs. And I'm looking around my house later in the day and I'm like, this place is actually kind of a mess. I might need someone to come in and do it professionally. But
Yeah.
if you're a business or even just a home, you know, raising the value of your street, looking
Hmm.
good for your neighbors, like you want to maintain that stuff. It's your
Yeah.
first impression, you know, before
Hmm.
someone ever walks in the business, before they ever meet you or ring on your doorbell, or if they're coming to hang out, they're
Hmm.
taking a look at your curb appeal, man. And are you doing a lot of residential? Are you doing commercial? Is there a strong balance between the two?
So this year was the first year we ventured into commercial. A lot of it was just word of mouth advertising. Local residents that I worked for actually own businesses. So they said, hey, you do a great job on my house. Why don't you come work on our business? So I added on about 10 to 12 commercial accounts, but we're mostly residential. And I think down the road that'll start to shift a little bit as we acquire more equipment. You know, the biggest thing to handling commercial is the equipment that you have to operate. So as soon as we get to that growth point, which we did a great job of getting through this year, adding on another fleet, adding on, you know, more trailers, more equipment will bring us to that level. But for right now, it's mostly residential.
Good stuff. Good stuff. For sake of time, I want to move over to the rapid fire round where we
Awesome.
just get to know Shay a little bit better. Some either or simple questions to,
Mhm.
you know, get to know your personality. Sounds good?
Cool.
Cool. Coffee or tea?
Coffee, but not straight coffee. It needs to be mixed with some sweet stuff, like a caramel frappe.
A caramel frappe. Okay. How about beer or wine? Do you drink?
Yes. So it's a mix, and I'm going to be like this on all the questions. So I apologize to the listeners.
As long as we keep
Um,
them short, I'm good with it.
but cider, actually.
Mm,
So
cool.
a happy medium.
You know, sometimes I don't preface it. You don't have to choose one of the two.
Yeah.
I like when people fill in the blank with their own answer. I'm
Yeah.
all about the cider as well.
Nice.
Um, so animals, cats or dogs?
Cats,
What about mornings or evenings?
evenings. Can't do mornings.
Do you have to do mornings for your job?
I do. And getting up at 7:15 every day for 6 straight months, it's a little tough.
You got a favorite season?
Yes, fall.
Fall? Hey, and social medias. Let's say someone were to follow you and or your company. Where are
Hmm.
you most active? Where do we find you?
Almost exclusively on Instagram. I am a fan of Facebook, but Instagram shows the work the best.
Cool, cool. iOS, Android.
Ooh, iOS, but I really respect the Android market. Really respect it.
Love it. Love it. We'll do one more. Haven't asked this one yet, but I think it's fitting.
Yeah.
Favorite football team.
The Pittsburgh Steelers, and it's not because they're undefeated this year. I have been through bad seasons. I've been through Cordell Stewart. So to see a good team is awesome.
Love it. Love it. Yeah, they're undefeated this year. They're
Let's
looking
keep it
good.
going.
My Broncos almost beat them week one, but
I
that was a different
remember. I
story.
remember. Yeah, that was a close game. I was nervous.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, man, is there anything that I would have asked you if I just knew you better, knew a little bit more about the company?
The only thing I always say to anyone, no matter what the project, and it sounds cliche, but it's so true. If you have a small project that you just can't get to, or you have a large project that you can't wrap your head around, free estimate, free consultations. This is what I do for a living. This is what I love. So sitting down and just talking to people about what I love is what brings me happiness. And if I could help anyone in any way, I will.
Love it. How does that conversation start? Call you, website, socials. What's the best way to reach
Yep.
out?
Call, email, text. Follow me on Instagram, either my personal account or my business account. Any way you want to reach out to me, the door is always open.
Is that just at KMB Property
Yeah, so it's
Services?
KMB_property solutions, or my personal accounts are all at Shea Delola.
And my bad, I think I've been calling it Property Services. So it's KMB Property
Same,
Solutions,
same
correct?
thing. Yep.
Cool, man. Hey, thank you for coming on. I appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to Rochester Business Connections. Don't forget to share this, rate, and comment on your favorite platform. You can also email me, ben@balbertmarketing.com. Let's connect soon. Until then, keep thriving, everyone.